Television. I am Olayemi Takuro. Remember that you can watch us live on Facebook at OGTV and Ogun State Television, on YouTube at OGTV Abeokuta, and on OGTV website www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and reports, check us on these platforms: on X at Ogun TV, on Instagram at Ogun State Television, or you can download the OGTV app on Google and Apple Play Store. And now the news. President Bola Tinubu has urged Muslim and Christian leaders in the country to show greater compassion for the poor and underprivileged by pursuing policies that cater to the needs of the majority in the grassroots. The president made a call while hosting governors for the break-in of an interfaith fast at the presidential villa, said the simultaneous periods of abstinence and penitence for both religions underscore a common humanity.
Complaints and commendation coming from all angles. They will come from this at me too. But as long as we brace together and we move together and determined to rescue this country, the best is yet to come to Nigeria.
Tinubu noted that Ramadan and Lent provide opportunities for leaders in both religions to reflect further on the plight of others and to design programs that will directly impact the livelihoods of many.
We give thanks to Almighty God for sparing our lives and keeping us together to see another Ramadan. And a great Ramadan that coincides with that of the Christian faith. You know what it means. Discipline, sacrifice, faith, resilience, strong determination for us to continue to brace together, pray together, and love one another.
The president said more could be achieved, especially in reducing poverty and empowering the youth. The Ogun State Waste Management Authority, OGWAMA, has entered a new era of enforcement as a state of emergency is declared on indiscriminate waste disposal across the state. Established to ensure a cleaner and more sustainable environment, OGWAMA is currently intensifying its crackdown on illegal dump sites which threaten public health and block critical drainage system. Elizabeth Esson reports that the new managing director, Honorable Farouk Akintunde, is hitting the ground running with an immediate assessment of the state capital's most problematic areas.
Honorable Farouk Akintunde marks his first day as the Special Advisor and Managing Director of OGWAMA with an aggressive on-the-spot assessment of waste hotspots within Abeokuta. Moving through the state capital, the new boss confronts the reality of indiscriminate dumping. At several locations, frustrated residents claim that non-residents are responsible for midnight ghost dumping that clusters the neighborhoods before daybreak.
Government needs to create more awareness about the trucks that come to pick up the refuse, and also to make provision for where the refuse can actually be dumped. Because the thing is, anytime we come here in the morning, we meet a whole lot of empty dumps being dumped here. We don't even have places to park our cars.
The situation turns critical along Aladesomi Road, where the massive volume of refuse is actively reclaiming the asphalt. Motorists now abandon one side of the road entirely, forced to navigate around a mountain of field that has become a major traffic bottleneck.
If we have a situation whereby people from different communities employ PSP to assist them in evacuating waste and refugees from their community, it will come to the major highways.
At Aregbe, the story remains the same. The roadside has completely transformed into an unauthorized dump site. Honorable Akintunde leads the monitoring team to the Shaja dump site to inspect the operational capacity and the speed of waste processing at the facility.
Here, we have to be comforted with the fact of this machine that has been down for the past Friday, and nobody is saying anything. So if you don't come to this place, how do we know?
Addressing the issue of law and order, the Ogwama boss issues a stand warning regarding enforcement and compliance.
The government of Ogun State is concerned about the good living of the people, making the society habitable, making it more cleaner. So we need to let people know what they're supposed to do first. It is until when they are not doing what they're supposed to do that will now result into enforcement. And on enforcement, let me be clear with this. The kind of enforcement we are doing before, or the agency is doing before, cannot give us the results.
The day concludes with a high-level meeting with the Ogwama leadership and the private sector participants, PSPs. The discussion focuses on resolving lingering operational orders and reviewing price structures to ensure that waste collection services remain efficient and sustainable across the states. Elizabeth Esson, OGTV News.
Ogun State House of Assembly Committee in Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption (PARC) has commended the Ogun State Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency, Ogun Invest, for its efforts in attracting local and foreign investment into the state. The chairman of the committee, Honorable Damilare Bello, gave the commendation while playing host to the management of Ogun Invest, led by the Special Assistant to the Governor on Investment, Ms. Shola Arubieke. Kolawale Osho's report is presented in this package.
In continuation of the consideration of the 2024 Auditor General's report on state, ministries, departments and agencies, NDAs, embarked upon by the Committee on Public Account and Anti-Corruption, PAC, led by Honorable Damilare Bello, who described the investment attracted by the Ogun State Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency, Ogun Invest, led by the Special Assistant to the Governor on Investment, Ms. Shola Arubieke, as evident and impactful, noting that they had contributed to the continuous economic growth of the state and had positioned it as one of the leading investment destinations in the country.
Looking at the investors dropping in over states, somebody in charge of this kind of agency has a huge level of exposure in dealing with investors, and I want to sincerely appreciate your sister here.
In the same vein, the state's Christian Pilgrim Welfare Board, led by its Executive Secretary, Mr. Yemi Oduyemi, was directed to submit its fixed asset register and provide supporting documents on bank charges as contained in its financial records. The House Committee also requested the State Bureau of Statistics, led by the State Statistician General, Mrs. Omolara Adebayo, to submit supporting documents for computers purchased in 2024, as well as records on the Road Safety Advisory Council. Also, the management of the State Hospital OTA, led by its Medical Director, Dr. Iro Phillips Akishola, was directed to provide supporting documents on other equipment, drugs and laboratory supplies contained in the expenditure records of the facility. The committee also considered the audit report on the State Printing Corporation, led by its acting general manager, Mr. Olufolarin Ige, and the State Slum Regeneration Authority, led by its general manager, Mrs. Olufunmilayo Adegunle.
The Ogun State government has introduced an additional pension benefit, APB, as part of measures to address concerns raised by stakeholders following the full implementation of the contributory pension scheme, CPS, in the state. The initiative, approved by the administration of Governor Dapo Abiodun, was announced in a communique issued after a series of consultative meetings between representatives of organized labor, members of the state, and local government pension administration committees and the Commissioner for Finance and Chief Economic Advisor, Dapo Okubadijo. The CPS became fully operational in Ogun State on 2nd of July 2025. Stakeholders described the APB as an innovative and sustainable mechanism designed to prevent pension crises and strengthen confidence in the CPS. According to the communique, the APB is a one-off payment at retirement aimed at bridging gaps identified between the CPS and the former Defined Benefit Scheme, DBS, particularly regarding gratuity. The benefits will be calculated using graded percentages of a retiree's final total annual emolument, TAE, based on years of qualifying service. Eligible retirees will receive between 116% and 280% of their final annual emolument as additional benefits depending on the length of service. The payments will be made directly to retirees at the point of exit, while balances in their retirement savings accounts will be preserved to strengthen monthly pension payment. The communique highlighted the state government's financial interventions in the pension sector, noting that 26.35 billion naira has been expended to offset outstanding gratuity liabilities, alongside commencement of amortization of accrued gratuity arrears dating back to July 2012. It also disclosed that 5.89 billion naira has been remitted as arrears of CPS deductions and accrued returns on investment, while 500 million naira has been paid as death benefits into the RSAS of deceased retirees. In addition, the government has commenced remittance of accrued pension rights for eligible employees. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has directed states' Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board to immediately refund intending pilgrims who could not be registered for the 2026 Hajj as Saudi Arabia's visa deadline approaches. The directive was issued during a strategic stakeholders meeting held at the Commission's headquarters, Hajj House, Abuja, where NACON reaffirmed its commitment to transparency, professionalism and strict regulatory oversight in the conduct of the 2026 pilgrimage. The meeting was attended by commissioners, board members, executive secretaries and chairmen of state pilgrims welfare boards, members of the firm of state executive secretaries, the medical mission team and management staff. Newly appointed chairman Ismail Yusuf clarified that a reduction in Nigeria's Hajj quota for 2026 was part of a global adjustment affecting several participating countries and not a decision targeted at Nigeria. Yusuf directed states to urgently reconcile their data and withdraw excesses entries to prevent operational bottlenecks. Amid growing debate on social media and in public spaces, some Nigerians have continued to push the narrative that education is a scam, arguing that academic qualifications no longer guarantee financial success. Ayodeji Tomori Oluwumi in this report takes on members of the public who express mixed reactions, with some insisting that many graduates remain unemployed despite years of schooling, while others blame the country's economic structure rather than value of education itself. Details are in this package.
A general myth that education is a scam is gradually metamorphosing into a reality of modern-day world. Though common among youth, the Gen Z's age bracket, Nigerians believed this instance is caused by many factors, ranging from parental negligence, societal decadence, to drop in spiritual essence. The overrating of TV reality shows, which attract handsome rewards over academic excellence, has grossly eroded crave for education.
That assertion that education is a scam on its own. A scam to defraud the unaware citizen. A scam to draw those that couldn't see the future into ruin. So education can never be a scam. What we need to change is our perception about education. Education is life.
We love money. We cherish modernity, and we always prefer this syndrome of get rich quickly. And because of that, people are taking different and wrong initiatives. at ensuring they are wealthy and at ensuring that they are relevant in the society.
The implication is what we can all begin to see in our society, whereby people who are not of sound mind taking over from those who ought to be at the helm of affairs. And the implication on the society is that the people who have sufficient capacity are not being privileged to assume the position of leadership, which will, directly or indirectly have a beneficial impact on the well-being of the people.
The resultant effect of this myth, education is a scam, can be said to have significantly contributed to the increasing numbers of out-of-school children in the society. Respondents believed it is the duty of guardians, parents, the society, the religious bodies and the government to jointly tackle this menace.
What could be done is about value reorientation. That it is high time our youth should shun the idea of soft money. You need to work to earn. That orientation has to come.
The religious institutions to have a great role to play in tailoring the minds of the congregants, and they must let them know the teachings of their faith.
We are to begin look at how we can do more advocacy, public enlightenment, sensitization, awareness raising, so we're able to bring stakeholders together to discuss these issues, that we can all begin look at how we can address this thing holistically.
If there is an assertion and the stakeholders in that particular field fail to speak out, those that are hearing it will believe that what they were saying is actually correct. So there should be jingles all around. Let people know that education is not a scam, education is actually life.
With responses so far, it is safe to say education plays a vital role in individual and societal development, drives economic growth, promotes social development, and contributes to global progress. Ayodeji Tomori Olumumi, OGTV News.
The Rural Electrification Agency has secured a $700,000 grant from the ECOWAS Commission to electrify 15 public health and education institutions across the country using solar photovoltaic systems. The funding support followed the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the agency and the ECOWAS Commission under the Regional Off-Grid Electricity Access Project. According to a statement by the agency, the agreement provides grant funding from ECOWAS for the electrification of public health and education facilities located in the Federal Capital Territory, Niger State and Nasarawa State. Following the signing of the MOU with ECOWAS, the REA was said to have also entered into a separate agreement with the Niger State government to facilitate state-level collaboration and co-financing for selected project sites within the state. And on the foreign scene, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has announced that his government is writing to Commonwealth countries about its support to have the United Kingdom's former Prince Andrew Windsor removed from the line of royal succession over his links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Albanese's announcement came as neighbouring Commonwealth member New Zealand declared that it would also support the UK government if it proposes the removal of Mountbatten Windsor from the line of succession to the throne. Australians were disgusted by revelations about late US sex offender Epstein's relations with public figures, and they want the government to be clear about its position, Albanese disclosed. The former 66-year-old prince was arrested last week, detained and questioned as part of an investigation into alleged misconduct in public office following revelations about his dealings with Epstein. And on sports, the sports sector in Ogun State has evolved from modest beginnings to a hub of athletic excellence and infrastructure development. Today's special report takes you through the journey of sport in the Gateway State, tracing historical milestones, government interventions, grassroots developments, and the state's growing profile on the national stage.
Ogun State sporting story is not one of sudden success, but of steady and deliberate growth. The first real statement came in 2006 when Ogun hosted the National Sport Festival for the first time, testing the state's organizational capacity and laying the foundation for long-term sporting infrastructure development. Nearly 2 decades later, that story returned as Ogun once again hosted the festival in 2025, tagged Ogun Gateway Games 2024. This time, the scale was larger, the logistics more complex, and the ambition clearer, bringing together athletes and officials from all 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, close to 12,000 participants.
Breathtaking around is Enabo in the box. Cuts him again to the left, puts him to the right again.
Our bid to host this prestigious event was anchored on our unshakable belief in the transformative power of sports, not only as a unifying force across our diverse federation, but also as a catalyst for socio-economic development and youth empowerment.
Central to that resurgence was the MK Abiola Sports Arena at Abeokuta. Over the last 2 years, the once modest facility has undergone extensive renovation, transforming it into a modern, world-class sports complex. The arena has emerged as the flagship of Ogun State's renewed sports infrastructure and the centerpiece of recent high-profile events. Elsewhere in the state capital, the Alake Sports Center in the Georgia has also been revitalized, long regarded as a historic venue, which continues to play a key role in grassroots sports, community engagement, and athlete development, linking elite competition with everyday participation. These venues are supported by a wider network of stadia across the state. The Mudalawa Stadium, Ashelo, Abeokuta, the Gateway International Stadium in Shagamu, the Otumba Depotino Stadium in Ijebu-Ode, the Gateway International Stadium in Ilaro, and the privately owned Remo Star Stadium. Together, they form a spread of facilities that have strengthened Ogun's capacity to host events beyond the state capital. That capacity has attracted multiple international competitions. In 2025 alone, the Gateway State hosted the African Under-18 and Under-20 Championships in athletics, exposing local talents to international standards while drawing continental attention to the state facilities. The state also played host to an international women's football friendly, with Nigerian Super Falcons defeating Domitable Lionesses of Cameroon at MK Abiola Sports Arena, Abeokuta. Inclusivity has remained part of the narrative. Ogun State also successfully hosted the 2025 West African Paralympic Games, reinforcing a commitment to athletes living with disabilities and broadening access to competitive sports.
You cannot look at Dr. Abiodun's contribution to sports through the lenses of National Sports Festival alone. That was a huge, monumental success, never seen before in this country. You must also look at it in the area of capacity building. I am DG of National Sports Commission today because Governor Dr. Abiodun introduced me and handed me over to Sunday Dari, who was the Minister for Sport, who today works directly with the President. I won't go too deep into that, but suffice to say that 6 men have changed the trajectory of my life. One of them is Governor Dr. Abiodun.
At the club level, football development has gathered momentum. The state-owned Gateway FC, alongside private outfits such as Remo Star Sports Club, the reigning champions of the Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL), SS Thomas of Abeokuta, Ijebu United, FC Biede, among others, have contributed to the football ecosystem.
Many of our athletes always excel in all the competitions they have been going through for over years now. I'm sure anybody that is coming, the next governor, must see this challenge for what this man has done. He must turn it around again, because when President Abiodun came in, he turned it around, he rebuilt. Anybody coming in should emulate him.
Beyond sports infrastructure and major events, Ogun State has a proud history of producing exceptional sports. To trailblazers such as Falilat Ogunkoya and even former undisputed heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua.
We have hosted World Cup, we have hosted Nations Cup, we've hosted WAFU, we've hosted
in different sports. We've hosted the National Sports Festival twice, something that is unique to any state in this country. Most states, apart from maybe Lagos and Abuja, have not hosted the National Sports Festival twice. But we State in the last 50 years actually scratched that. But we State in the last 20 years have been able to host it twice. So I believe strongly that this state has done what it should do for the last 50 years in the area of sports.
As investment continues and facilities evolve, Ogun State is steadily consolidating its place as one of Nigeria's emerging centers of sporting excellence. Moses Ochewumi, OGTV News.
And just before we leave, let's remind you of the words of Queen Elizabeth II. Says, "It is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the